Amazing. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us this afternoon, evening, morning, wherever it is, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm Cameron Brown. I'm the Venues and Companies Manager at Brighton Fringe, and this is another one of our Fringe Academies that we run throughout the year, which are free workshops for participants taking part in Brighton Fringe. Speaking of Brighton Fringe, oh my God, it's happening. What? Amazing. We are just past the first weekend. We opened on the 5th of May and we'll run until the 4th of June. And it has been a good start so far. It's been going really, really well, really busy. I feel like last year was probably, I don't know, last year we were all telling ourselves, oh, it's normal again. But this year it feels a lot more normal than it did last year, I'd say. So it would do truly feel like we are returning back to the good times. But thank you all so much for joining me this evening. I'm going to pass over to Holly Lombardo from World Fringe, and she'll be able to give us a bit more of an introduction and then move on to the rest of these lovely people in here as well.
Thank you, Cameron. It's really great to be part of the Brighton Fringe Academy again, and hoping that everyone who watches this will enjoy it. I am Holly Lombardo from World Fringe, and Kath Matos here is also from World Fringe. World Fringe was set up in 2006-07 with a remit to connect all of the fringe festivals in the world with each other. At the moment, there are about 300 fringe festivals across our planet, and 70 or so of them are in the UK, which is always a surprise to people that there's so many here alongside Brighton Fringe. So we have been running for a long time. We have congresses, which is big global meetups every other year. We have a big list of all the festivals on our website, which is worldfringe.com, alongside a calendar of when festivals are happening, as well as when their artists' calls are open and closed. And we post that all out as well on our social media. Today we are joined by some very special fringe festivals, all from different countries, which is excellent and really exciting. So I'm going to get everybody to introduce themselves, what fringe they're from, what country they're in, maybe what time of day it is right now, and also the dates, rough dates of your next fringe festival would be great. Kath, if you go first and you can pass on to the next person.
Hi, I'm Kath Matos. I work with Holly and World Fringe, and also produce Wandsworth Arts Fringe in London, UK. And I nominate Melissa.
All right. Hello. My name is Melissa. I am currently sitting in Milan, Italy, where is it about 6 o'clock, just after 6. I'm here as the international representative for 2 festivals, the Milano Off Fringe Festival, founded in 2016 here in Milan, and the Catania Off Fringe Festival, just started last year, actually, of course, in Catania, Italy. Our Milan Festival runs the 25th of September to the 8th of October and this year, and our Catania Festival goes from October 16th to the 29th, so back to back. And I will pass it off to Lois.
Thank you, Melissa. Hi, everyone. My name is Lois. My pronouns are she, her. I am the co-director of the Hollywood Fringe Festival in the United States, which is right around the corner, June 8th through the 25th. And I'll pass it on to Amanda.
Hello. Yes, my name is Amanda. I am the festival director of Oslo Fringe, currently sitting at Salt, where it's happening the 30th of August till the 3rd of September. Yes, it's 18:08, so 8 minutes past 6, and we're just starting the evening. Passing. Anastasia.
Hi, I am Anastasia Larina. I am from Kyiv, Ukraine, and I'm representing Ukraine Fringe. which will be the first Fringe in Ukraine. It will be in Kiev from 21st of August till September 3rd, but it is online program. And our live program will be in Kiev from 31st of August till 3rd of September. And I pass it to Chris.
Thank you, Anastasia. Chris here in Gothenburg in Sweden, where it's also just past 6 o'clock. We have our 8th annual festival in September, the 1st to the 10th. The first time it's going to be 10 days long. And yeah, I will pass it on to who hasn't gone yet? Tope.
Thank you, Chris. My name is Dr. Sunny, and I'm the programs director for Lagos Fringe and Abuja Fringe, both in Nigeria, West Africa, Africa. So Lagos Fringe is happening this year for the 6th year in November, from November 7th to 12th. And Abuja Fringe is happening for the 3rd time next year, April 16th to 21st. We hope to see you guys. Some of our programs are online, but we also have many of them at physical venues here in Lagos and also in Abuja. Is there anyone that hasn't spoken? Or should I pass it?
No, that's everyone. That's
Okay.
everyone. Thank you so much. What time is it there?
In Nigeria right now, it's 5:10, the same time as the UK. So yeah, 5:10 p.m.
And Lois, you didn't say what time it is. I feel like it's midnight or something.
It is morning. It's a normal time for once for me.
Oh, that's great. Lois normally comes in the middle of the night to these meetings. It's great. Thank you all so much. What an amazing array of fringes from all the different countries. It's really exciting to have you all here. I want to sort of delve in a bit more into your festivals and discuss sort of what makes them individual, what you feel makes them really special to the area in which they are, and why they were started in those places. Most of them are relatively new festivals in terms of kind of 10 years or less. And you know, kind of why you started them or why they were started. And also what kind of art form works there, what artists do well in your area, and what do you do to look after those artists? Who would like to go first? Let's go to Lois.
Thank you, Holly. Yeah, the Hollywood Fringe. I should preface, we're in the middle of Guide Week. You all know the printed guide, so I'm a little bit out of it. I'm going to do my best to talk about this Fringe Festival I've been writing about for the past 3 weeks. But we're 13 years old. We're kind of in that fun teenage years where we've learned from our mistakes. We've started to grow and create more programming. So that's a lot of fun. We are in, of course, Hollywood, California, which is notably more for TV and film, which is something that I think makes our Fringe Festival really special, but also very important, because there is so much theater happening in Los Angeles, and yet it's not really what is given a spotlight very often. So our festival is basically 3 weeks of celebrating the theater artists and the theater art that is really impacting Los Angeles, that doesn't get the focus year round. It's also, I think, a great place to train as an independent artist. For Hollywood Fringe, we look at ourselves as kind of a producer's training ground. So we set up a lot of like 13 plus workshops every year, more than 20 networking events, all hybrid. So if you are an international artist looking to come over to Hollywood, you can jump in right from your own home, wherever that is. But we really like to prepare the artist to be a self-advocate and really have a career beyond just one summer at a Fringe festival, because it's a launching pad. So we want to see artists gain their confidence and gain the skill sets necessary to keep that show going, because art impacts the world. So if we can provide a platform as Fringe festivals, we're only going to make the world a little better. So that's something I think that Hollywood Fringe really focuses on, especially now in those teenage years where we have gotten over a lot of the hurdles that come with building and are starting to just create opportunity. Beyond that, like community, I think just like everyone else here, Fringe is all about community. So we run a social space, and that includes, of course, a bar and places for events. and also hosts our scholarship shows. We do 13 diversity scholarship shows that greatly impact the people who are presenting at our festival. And then also multiple exchanges, one of which is here, Milano and Catania off. We work with Melissa and offer like a show exchange and different things like that. So we just love to be involved in the community. And I think for anyone joining who has never been to Los Angeles, something that is, I think, important is like looking at what you can do beyond the Fringe. I like to name just right off, like, we're an expensive city and that we want the artists to be successful. And so I think the more you can prepare for a trip like coming to Los Angeles, the more successful you're going to be as an artist. So, you know, whether that means booking representation meetings or also booking the comedy clubs. If you're a stand-up comedian, you know, come do the Fringe, but then on your off nights, go, you know, do the comedy clubs or, you know, go on vacation. There's cool things like Disneyland, you know, just around the corner. So kind of we try to promote kind of the broader opportunity. And some of that is like through an industry program and things like that. So try to create, yeah, just more opportunity beyond a five festival performance run at the Hollywood Fringe. And who does well? I think that's the one thing I didn't answer. We see a little bit of everything. Immersive is really big in Los Angeles. So the Hollywood Fringe really has a strong immersive category for artists, but also like it's Fringe, which means anything goes, and we support the weird and the unexpected. And it really tends to thrive in our city. All right, should I pass it on?
Amazing. Yeah, pass it on.
Awesome, Melissa, all you.
Is she there? Is she gone? Oh, she's gone. And let's pass it on to Tope Sunny. Go for it.
Hello, everyone, once again. Thank you for, you know, that, Lois. I mean, it sounds very concise and straight to the point. So thank you for giving us the blueprint. So first of all, I am the program director, like I said, for 2 festivals here in Nigeria, Lagos and Abuja. So I will touch on Lagos first because that's the oldest, and then I will just drop down to Abuja. At Lagos Fringe, we started Lagos Fringe because we are very particular about ensuring that you know, artist development, and you know, Nigeria is a very interesting country. You know, there's a lot that is going on in terms of economic power for artists, you know, generally in Nigeria. So we started Lagos Fringe off Lagos Theatre Festival. When we handled Lagos Theatre Festival, we shot off to Lagos Fringe, and which is directed by the, you know, festival director Kenneth Owoho. But at the Lagos Fringe, we are particular, like I said, about artist development. However, we have different strands of the Fringe. We have the developmental workshops, which encourages capacity building for new and already established artists. We have, you know, the fashion, we have the music nights, and then we have individual shows, theater performances for participating companies into the Fringe. We start this through a process called, of course, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the call for, you know, submissions, which happens usually 5 to 6 months before the Fringe. The Fringe is multidisciplinary. We accept work from artists across the different sectors of the arts. We are looking at visual artists, we are looking at theater performers, we are looking at music artists, we're looking at comedians, we're looking at even people in mobile cinematography. At the end of the day, the Fringe is particular about ensuring that artists who otherwise would not get work, because one of the problems with artists in Nigeria is access. You know, usually they have to pay for access into these big centers, you know, to put down their work. But at Lagos Fringe, it is free. We accept their work. We help them through the process of putting it all together. And then in November, the artists are sure that at least one time in a year, they're able to put down their work, put it together in front of an audience which has been developed for like 10 years in Nigeria. Like I said, we started from Lagos Theatre Festival. So this happens every week in November. This year we're starting 7th of November and we end 12th of November. Right after which we'll then go to Abuja, you know, for Abuja Fringe. This time, Abuja Fringe is happening next year, which is April next year from the 16th to the 21st. Now, the difference between, the reason why we decided to create another Fringe is while Lagos is very metropolitan and cosmopolitan, you know, Lagos is like the melting point of different, you know, cultural identities. Abuja is a little bit different. It is more conservative. the artists, they thrive more on commissions because the city itself is the capital city of Nigeria. So they are particular about things being done administratively. In Lagos, we encourage, because the artists in Lagos are already used to, putting their work together. They already have a format, they have theoretical and in most cases practical knowledge compared to those in Abuja. They do not necessarily need a lot of hand-holding compared to the ones in Abuja. So in Abuja, we expend a lot of energy walking them through the process, and most times we often become, their co-producers, on their journey. The Abuja crowd is very cautious, unlike Lagos crowd, which is, the participants are very adventurous, they are very experimental, they're interested, they're used to seeing work in unconventional spaces. So while we have two fringes that seem to follow the same pattern, the audience development, but most importantly, the artist development in the two cities are very different, evidently. So I don't know, I think I've answered all the points. Felt very big in my head, but yeah. So usually in terms of sourcing for grants for the Fringe, because Lagos and Abuja Fringe is 100% through grants and support from our venue, our festival hub, the Freedom Park here in Lagos, and a number of cafes and developmental centers in Abuja, because they give us these venues at huge discounts.
Yeah.
This makes it easier for us, but at the same time we are always applying for grants. Personally, one of the reasons why I think you mentioned, is this where we talk about how personal the Fringe is to us, or is that coming next?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's quite interesting because I didn't start at the Lagos or Abuja Fringe or at any of the Fringes really as an artist. I started as a social media manager, and today I'm the programs director of the two Fringes. It's quite interesting. And it made me realize that aside the people, who put out the work, the artists, the actors, the directors, the producers, there are also people in the admin, the administrative side. The Fringe has provided work, across the different sectors of the arts. And I feel like many times we forget, we forget this, we forget people like me who have been giving careers. I never saw myself becoming a program director of an arts festival within 8 years. But then I've gone through the journey, through investment of people like my director and the fabulous participants that we've had at both of the festivals, who have, they've created pathways for people like me. And there's so many art administrators here in Nigeria who are always looking for, ways to, plug into the festivals. So aside, when we are putting out a call out for volunteers, we see people like me, young people who started like me 8 years ago, who started as, festival coordinators, even volunteers. And right now they have a properly grown, well-lived career in the arts. So I am very grateful, to the entire Fringe body. I say it anywhere. I am an ambassador of the Fringe. I love it. I love the access that it gives to people. I love the ownership that everyone takes it as, and it is my hope that, this doesn't stop anytime soon. Okay, so I think I should pass on the mic to
Amazing.
Yeah.
Melissa,
are you back?
Pass on.
Okay.
Melissa's back. Thanks so much.
I am back. Thank you, Sophie. That was so inspiring. Would you remind me what the question is? Kindly. Holly, you're on mic.
Every time. I was just saying you never get through a Zoom without saying you're muted. Sorry. We're looking at deeper diving into your Fringe Festival and what makes it special, why it's important to the place in which it is, and what type of shows do well and what do you do to look after your artists?
Cool, great. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I am actually representing two Fringe festivals here, both directed by the dynamic duo Francesca Vitale and Renato Lombardo, who were inspired by the Avignon Le Off Festival back in the day, one of the OG Fringes, one can say. And so the two festivals, we run on a very similar model, but they're actually very unique in the fact that they find themselves in two really different parts of Italy. They're both in Italy where the idea of Fringe is really new. It's not something that that Italians are familiar with yet. So one of the things we really work for is, exposing them to what is the Fringe and all of the great great aspects that are the artistic creativity and freedom that goes with the Fringe. So Milan is, of course, as you all know, a European epicenter. It is a cultural, artistic, and fashion hub for Italy. Also an economic hub. There's lots of theater here. So we have a position here since 2016 of providing opportunities for artists in really unique spaces across the city. So we're in museums, we're in bar lounges, we are in a comic museum, and also traditional theater spaces as well. And so here we're looking to offer that opportunity for artists to break into the Milanese market, as well as the Milan Rome circuit, which are these big city hubs in Italy, and really jumpstart their careers also on a European level. Because one of the things that both of our Fringes do is we really pride ourselves in the collaborations, the partnerships we have. As Lois mentioned, we go across the sea to Hollywood. We've also got a ongoing partnership with Gothenburg. So good to see you, Chris. And yeah, we really look to build those and provide those opportunities for the artists. We're still relatively new, even in Milan. So we work to give those networking opportunities, also teach the artists what Fringe is, how to participate in Fringe. We have lots of seminars and workshops with big people in the business to try to get them really involved and provide those opportunities for the artists. Catania has a similar type goal for the artists, but the city landscape is totally different. It's sort of a jewel of Sicilian culture along the seaside in southern Italy. So there, even in late October, you can still have a nice gelato and go for a lovely walk on the sand for the heat. And there's really this historical authenticity. So while we use a lot more traditional theatrical spaces as well as historical spaces, we're brand new there. So the audience is really passionate about what Fringe is. They're very excited for the late night meetings. We have groups with bars and artists all coming together with the public and talking about what theater is. They love non-commercial theater, and so it's less familiar to them. They have less access to that kind of art. So we really work to bring those kinds of pieces to an environment in a city where otherwise they might not have nearly as much access as they would in a place like Milan, while still giving those opportunities to the artists. So for both of our festivals, physical theater and Italian language theater are king in the sense that they sell really well. They're really enjoyed by our audiences, but we don't shy away from English-based theater either. So especially things that are easy to understand or multilingual pieces, international-based pieces. We find that pieces done by international artists who perhaps don't speak English as a native language also perform really well because the audience connects with that. They understand it. So yeah, we really accept all kinds of work, but I would say especially if you have either a stand-up or a non-verbal piece, a physical piece, or a multilingual international, and of course Italian pieces are more than welcome.
Brilliant. Thanks, Melissa. I'm going to pick, let's hear from Amanda in Oslo.
Hi, hello. Thank you very much. I mean, just to start off by saying thank you to Brighton Fringe to have this opportunity, and to the World Fringe. I mean, this is really, really good. Feel very happy about this. So also Fringe is it's quite a tiny festival. It's the third year running this year. I mean, Norway is a tiny country. We're 5 million people in total, and you know, even though and even though we are so few people, we educate just a gazillion people in performing arts every year. We have a lot of schools within performing arts and dance, music, musical theater, etc., etc. So the Fringe in Oslo, we have one in Bergen and Trondheim as well. They're even smaller, if you can imagine that. But it's a huge field for just mixed performing arts people that's not hired by theater, so to speak. They work in freelance, and it's a lot of people, and they need somewhere to perform, like, and they want to, and they produce a lot of stuff. So Fringe has been a really easy festival to start here because we have all the material. And a really important part of Oslo Fringe is the venue that we're hosting it in. It's called Salt. It's in the very central of the city by the sea. It's one big area. I'll show you here. It's the map. The map of the area. With multiple big and small venues and all of the fringes at one area. So the artists that come here, they stay here, and it creates a wonderful environment because they're here every day, even though they don't play, and they meet each other, and the networking works really natural in that way. And we, of course, also we have like fadder, like when the international artists come here, we have Norwegian groups taking care of one international group, and so we kind of pair them up. They have a friend when they get here, and we do workshops with different people. Try to cover different areas. We have some networking events. We do mostly, I'd say, like movement theater. Clowning is really becoming a big thing here. And then we have some more dramatic kind of, I would say, almost like bordering on like TV kind of things. I would say that the Norwegian groups, they do really well here. They're really used to Salt as well, and that helps, of course. But the international people that come here, they have this fantastic experience of becoming a part of a community really quickly. Getting new coworkers and new friends, and it's important for the business. The audience can feel that as well, you know. That is a good vibe here. It's important. Personally, I'm a trained actor from Le Coq, but in Norway, which is physical theater, movement theater. And when I was finished my school, got into the world, and nobody was waiting for me. What? I didn't understand anything. Why isn't somebody asking me to work for them? It's a shock. So maybe I was really, really naive, but I was still surprised. Nonetheless, we have two really special things about this festival because of that. We have one day just set off to all the people that's educated this year. They done in school in June, and then in August, we have a one day with 50, 60 shows just produced by newly educated people. We give them 2 weeks in the summer to produce a new show if they want to, for free, of course. They get some money, and we lower the production cost as much as possible. This is and we invite all the reviewers and the newspapers and all the theater bosses and whatnot to come see these new people that's coming into the world. This is really special, I think. And we have one day just for the children theater, where we really get high quality children theater pieces, which is also missing, I think, just to gather that and see a lot of different things. I think I would say that I'm probably done speaking now. If you would like to come here, you are welcome. Applications, sure. Let's go.
Brilliant. Thanks, Amanda. That sounds ace. Really loved that. Let's go to Anastasia.
Yes, hello. So Ukraine Fringe, the first one and only Fringe in Ukraine. We grew out of the festival ProAct Fest that was here for some years, and it was a great English-speaking festival, the one English-speaking festival in Ukraine, that presented workshops, beautiful performances from all over the world and from Ukraine in English. And we decided that we want to change something because the war started, and a lot of people from all over the world were looking at us. And like, when the world is looking at your theater and everything, what are you thinking of? Of course, you can open something like very famous in the whole world, and we decided to open Fringe. So it will be our first festival from the 21st of August till the 3rd of September. It will be online part, and the live part will be from the 33rd of August till the 3rd of September. And we are expecting a lot of people from other countries that wanted to join us live in Kiev. And we're excited about that because we thought that a lot of people will think that it is too dangerous to come here. But, when the war started, it was really dangerous here because of the whole processes that were happening here. But now we are protected a lot from the bombs and from the other things. And our army protects us a lot. And we know what to expect. We know how to deal with all the problems. All our theaters work now here in Kiev, and all the bars, all the museums are already opened. I was like 2 weeks ago, I was on the opening of the last museum that was closed. So now we're like working the full time. And what I wanted to say that we have a great English-speaking community here in Kiev that was coming to every festival here. And my personal inspiration in Fringes is this great vibe of freedom, of like courage, of you basically do everything that you want. And we like, it looks like a Kiev person, like a Ukrainian person. We really do here what we like, and and freedom is our second name here. So what I wanted to say more, it is really our first festival, and we have a lot of questions. How to do that, how to prepare our people to this format. But we are already doing some projects. Like today we have a concert that Ukraine Fringe made with Fringe Theater. That is our home theater. And we are singing songs, we're having fun, we are connecting to people from all over the world. And it works. Our people are really interested in projects that are theater-based, like have some drama in the performances. Also, we really love dance performances, and we really love workshop types of events. And I don't know, if you have some questions, please ask me, because I am out of words.
Thank you, Anastasia. Amazing what you're doing in the face of everything that is going on there. Huge amounts of respect to you all. Let's next hear from Chris in Gothenburg.
Yes. A little bit like Amanda said about Norway, Sweden has a lot of strong tradition in terms of like educating people in the arts. But the independent scene until very recently wasn't so thriving. So all the artists were going through the normal avenues, and there wasn't enough in terms of creating opportunities for people elsewhere. So that's kind of how Gothenburg Fringe came about. There was a bunch of independent venues and theater groups that met up together 8 years ago and decided they were going to put this thing in. So it was very much a grassroots organization. And then that was taken over by a couple of people, kind of stewardship, a non-profit association was built. And then a couple of years later, me and the majority of the people who are in the team now got involved with it. So in that sense, it is very much always been driven with the artists at the forefront of our mind. That's how we do it in terms of our model as well. So pretty much all of the funding goes towards creating opportunities for the artists. So we do that in terms of our agreements as well. So we book the venues for the artists. We give them 100% of the ticket fees. So they don't have any operating costs for the festival itself. Only if they're coming from abroad, they just have to get here. And so artist development and audience development has kind of become the focus for us in the last couple of years. We have at the moment our first artist in residence, thanks to a European grant. So we're having them over for a month and also sending them over to our friends in Finland and Jagare, also Fringe Festivals, as part of that. And we last year started having year-round events, so seasonal showcases with a focus not just on creating opportunities for artists here and abroad, but also for the community, the audience, and getting them familiar with this concept, not just as something that comes back once a year and we say, you know, remember us, we're back with an overwhelming amount of shows. We try to do things year round and build that, which has gone quite well. During the festival itself, I think a big focus is on the community between the audience, the volunteers, and the artists as well. So we have a very strong volunteer community, and we shift everything towards the end of every night to be in one place where then everyone can actually be together. And that's a great thing we always hear from all areas, is that, you know, if you're a young volunteer or an audience member who's just gone to see this show, and then you have the artists right in front of you who in your eyes are kind of a superstar because you just saw them do something brilliant, but now you're having a drink with them, or now you get to talk to them. That's a great piece of feedback that we've developed over the last couple of years. And in terms of the types of shows that work really well, we're very much pushing the site-specific work. So we do have some traditional arts venues, but then we have a lot of funky places as well, an 18th century pirate house, water tower. We put artists on a tram going across the city last year as part of our opening day. And so yeah, pushing the boundaries in that sense, and I think also in the types of work as well. So independent theater companies do very well, a lot of physical theater and interdisciplinary work as well. So pieces that don't necessarily fit into one genre or the other tends to find a good home here. So yeah, that's I think us.
Sounds amazing. I want to go on the tram and the pirate venue as well. It sounds awesome. Last but not least, Kath at Wandsworth Arts Fringe.
I'll keep mine brief. Yeah, so we are happening quite soon. So we take place in Wandsworth Arts Fringe in Wandsworth, the borough of Wandsworth in London. So obviously we are quite a big borough in the middle of London. So we have got lots of hub venues situated around the borough. So it's, and each hub has like a different focus really. So we've got National Opera Studio, which is obviously a lot of opera. We also do quite experimental stuff there. So we've got a interpretive tap dancer working with the Beatbox Academy, hopefully. So we do a lot, like Chris, we people who are cross-genre, want to learn from other artists about the particular genre they are working in. So we do a lot of sort of artist sort of skill swapping and skill sharing, which we find is quite a nice thing to be involved with. And we really do foster those kind of artistic relationships, so where you're kind of working with each other and trying to, you know, encourage collaboration and cross promotion as much as possible. So we're quite cheap to get involved. It's only 45 quid to take part. Some of our venues are free. The ticketing company just takes a small percentage of the box office, and obviously some venues do charge a fee as well. But it's a very cheap place to come. It's on the outskirts of central London, so it's quite a good place to start to get a little bit of visibility. Because it is London, it can be a bit more difficult at the same time to get those audiences, because they, you know, our audiences obviously have such a variety of options to go and see, not just within our festival, but within centre of London as well. So there is a sort of competitive element for the audiences with everything else that's going on around as well. So I think we have some hubs. So we have a new writing hub. So if you've got small scale work and you're sort of like a touring artist at the start of your journey, then I think we're quite a good cushion for you. We give out grants. So we have a grants program that takes place at the beginning of our kind of planning of the year. So that's up to 2K. So then you can, it gives you a little bit of maneuver room to be experimental and also to sort of underwrite your risk in a way and look for some sort of collaborations and sort of honing your craft. We are uniquely placed. We are a local authority. So I sit within, I'm a freelancer, but I sit within the arts team of a local authority, which gives us quite a unique position again to be able to help in your onward relationships. If you're doing work that's a bit more engaged with the community, or you explore ideas around placemaking and sort of the economic sort of development type of thing, then we're quite a good place to come, because we can help foster those relationships. So it's sort of like that deeper engagement work is stuff that does really well with us. So we quite often have like Arts Council funded organisations coming to work with our local organisations, our local arts organisations, or kind of touring artists come in and they might partner with one of our more integrated companies. And then that forms quite a nice sort of partnership. So yeah, it's that the sort of mid-scale touring, I would say, doesn't do so well with us, but those sort of big emerging touring artists do okay. It's a good place to come, because that there's quite a lot of training that is involved in that sort of process as we guide you on, and we can sort of help you with sort of your grant making and that kind of thing. So I think that, yeah, that's quite good. We've got some nice hubs for music. We've got some nice hubs for theatre, and comedy does actually really quite well. We've got one of our venues is a really well-known comedy venue, so we've got a really good comedy audience as well. So yeah, I think that's anything else you need from me.
That's excellent. Thank you everybody who told us about your Fringe. What I think is amazing is that there is no blueprint for creating a Fringe festival, and yet all these festivals from totally different countries across the world have these unique yet similarities between them, and that is that innovation and a focus on making platforms for the arts and for presenting and receiving art, and the community development that they all do as well, and the cohesion that they create. That's been really inspiring hearing all of you. Thank you so much. What I'm going to ask you now is just quickly, like in a minute or less, tell us why you are inspired by Fringe and why you feel passionately about the festivals that you work in. Just go around quick, and if we've got time, I've got a couple more questions to ask you. Who would like to go first? Jump in. Or I'll pick on you. Lois, you look like you're about to...
I'll go just to fill the space. So Lois from Hollywood Fringe. I think it's community, honestly, is what really drives me to continue to work in the Fringe festival space. And I think we saw it here today, just like we see every time like-minded people with this similar passion get in the room together, sharing experience, but also hearing about experiences we don't have, and being able to broaden our own views of the world, and getting to share that at Hollywood Fringe, with 800, I think, artists are participating this year, and being able to get 800 versions of the world, and that's expanding our experience, and just it refills the cup and the soul, and I think it's a beautiful thing to engage in every year.
Right, Liz. Who should we go to now? Melissa?
Sure. I have to piggyback off of what Lois said. I think it's definitely about the community, about the community of organizers, but also about the community of artists and participants, and just the idea that anything goes. I mean, there's no pretenses, there's no idea of what is or what isn't right art. I mean, it's just this idea that whatever you can put on a stage, whatever you feel compelled to share, and people are willing to share that experience with you, is all valid for the Fringe. And that's what I love about the Fringe. I don't think there's anything quite like it.
No, you're right. Thank you. Amanda.
Yeah, I mean, just as a producer, I really love this idea of giving someone an opportunity to do something really professional. You know, it's really arranged. It's done. You know, but they can come in and do something they've never done before, or something they just made. You know, and that mix, it's really rare. You know, so that's something that I feel passionate about, and the community building, of course, but also, Jesus Christ, we're giving an audience an opportunity to see something they probably haven't. They wouldn't go and see that, because where would they see that? You know, and so, you know, that's something that comes with putting on a lot of things in a short amount of time.
Definitely. Chris.
Yeah, kind of like what Amanda said there, just hearing people, you know, 3 years after seeing a show talking about something that happened in that show because it was so either incredible or ludicrous, or just something about it that just sticks with so many people. That's, no matter which festival I've gone to, there are these stories circulating. And I think that's really beautiful. The fact that these stories, these people keep dragging people back into the festival community. And yeah, that's what I enjoy about going to as many different Fringes as possible, to find those things. And no matter which one you go to, you really feel at home as well, and very welcomed. So I think that is quite unique for something which has 250 different versions of it around the world.
Perfect. Tope.
Thank you. So for me, as a Nigerian and a Nigerian programs director, for me, it is about access. That is one problem that a lot of my artists here that they face, is about the fact that the Fringe all over the world, you know, gives you the opportunity to have a community all over the world. For example, we are taking one of our shows to Brighton Fringe, you know, in a couple of weeks. And this could only have happened because, you know, we have a community outside of Nigeria, outside of Africa, who came to see the play a while ago, 2 years ago, last year, and they were like, oh, there's something about this play that I feel like can tour. I don't think there is any other platform other than a platform of people who understand your journey, who are interested in acknowledging the art, you know, behind your journey, and are interested in seeing it, and they will applaud you every single way. So I feel like that is quite inspiring. And like Chris said, I mean, imagine seeing this in 300 different replications. It's almost mind-blowing, you know, so yeah.
Thank you. Kath.
I love what I love is when artists say, oh, I've got a little bit of an idea. I'm just thinking maybe I might, and you're just like, you can't, come on. Yeah, what is it? What is it you might want to do? And then it's sort of teasing that out a little bit, especially because, you know, obviously we speak to artists, you know, very early on, as you all do. But and then obviously we have a grants round as well, so it's like, I've got a very vague idea that I'm thinking I might try, and then it's just seeing that, how that unfolds, and you know, that how that sort of idea sort of propels itself and becomes something, or something slightly different. I love that. And then seeing artists then going on to, you know, what should I do next, what should, you know, that you know, that journey is really inspiring for me. That sort of community, the community building, you know, especially during the festival as well, where you hear little, you know, I mean, us in London, we get quotes saying, oh, you know, I literally haven't been out for like 2 weeks because we work in all sorts of weird areas around the borough, and it's like, I literally haven't done anything for 2 weeks, and I've come out and this is happening here, and I had no idea, and I didn't know what to do with my kids today, and I did, you know, that kind of thing is just like really sort of like, you know, melts your soul, and it makes you, yeah, it makes you feel really happy and really sort of like you're doing something really valuable. So that's really nice.
Thanks, Kath. We'll go to Cameron and then Anastasia.
Oh, there we go. Found the button. Yeah, I love it. I love that breeding ground for creativity and that sort of new platform. Well, a platform to support new work. Speaking personally from my experience of I started working for Brighton Fringe and then just seeing how accessible and encouraging the community was, ended up banding together with people and putting on Fringe shows and then doing 2 Fringe shows and getting back into performing and doing all of that, which was amazing. And I truly think that we only really were able to do that because we were sort of supported through the platform of Brighton Fringe, being able to be a group of sort of no-name artists to then end up presenting a show, three performances in front of a sellout crowd, and it did really well. And that was, yeah, just I wouldn't be able to find that opportunity anywhere else, I don't think, and that's why we keep coming back. I love having those chats with people in September, and I'm just basking in the glory of them watching all of those people that you had those preliminary conversations with, picking up their passes, hearing about how everything went, and yeah, it's great at the moment. I'm loving it.
Brilliant. Thanks, Cameron. And last but not least, Anastasia.
Yes, I think that the most I love in Fringes is that we find friends every single day, like every single day, and it's amazing. And community really helps us to be visible, and we have this opportunity also to make the artist visible here. And my personal inspiration is also that I am doing what I love, what I want every single day, and I'm not tired of it. Like I worked on a lot of festivals, and this format is the only format where I feel like inspired every single day, and it is so amazing and so unbelievable that it exists. Like the job I love exists, and it is like Fringe. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, everybody. We are very nearly at the top of our time. So I think on those beautiful notes of what inspires you and what you love about Fringe Festivals is a really great place to finish. And just want to say thank you so much for joining us, and really loved hearing about your festivals. And I hope everyone who watches this post this session will also feel inspired, maybe inspired to tour and get in touch with these wonderful people, and they will talk to you about your shows and develop them with you. And look, there's a tour around the world here right in front of us. So enjoy. Everyone unmute and say goodbye, and we will see you all soon.
Goodbye. See you.
Hey,
Goodbye. Thank you
ciao.
everyone for coming along. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Amazing. Take care, everyone. See you later.
Cheers, Cameron.
Amazing. Thank you. Speak soon, Holly.